Hello, my wonderful fourth graders. Today, what we are going to talk about is summarizing. And I know we've been doing this a lot with our chapter books, but we're going to be talking more about how we use summarizing in the real world. Now, if we were in the classroom, I'd be asking you guys questions and having you raise your hands and all that fun stuff. But since we're not in the classroom, I'm pretty much going to tell you what summarizing is and why we use it. So, summarizing really means that you are picking out the essential parts or the important details of a piece of literature or an article, and you're putting it into your own words. Okay, so we do not want to take directly from the article and using those words that the author of the article used, because that would be plagiarizing, which is against the law. So anyway, when we use summarizing in the real world is mainly when you're writing reports, which you will be doing in science. So that's why we are doing this skill right now, because I'm working with Miss Montgomery to help you guys kind of find important information when you start your researching for science class. Okay. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to read this article one time through. And as I am reading it, I want you to briefly write down, and it does not need to be in sentence form, briefly write down all the important details that you think are important to this article. Okay, you can use this on a scratch piece of paper. I'm not going to ask for you to take a picture of it or anything like that. But I want you to see I kind of want you to compare what we're doing today to what we're going to be doing on Thursday, because what we're doing on Thursday is really narrowing down our notes for the important parts of it. So if you can just do that, and I'm going to read this a second time through and go through the notes that you should have written down. So if you don't get them the first time, then you can also do it as I'm doing it with you. Okay. All right, so this story or article is about Amelia Earhart, and she was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so listen for the important details. Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart was born in Atchison, Kansas on July 24th, 1897. She was the first child born to Edwin and Amy Earhart. 3 years later, Amelia's sister Muriel was born. The girl's childhood was not always easy. Their father's drinking caused him to lose a good-paying job with the railroad. Soon after that, the family split up. The girls and their mother moved to Chicago. In 1917, Amelia went to Canada to visit her sister at school. There, she met some World War I soldiers who had been hurt in battle. That chance meeting led Amelia to change her mind about going to college. Instead, she took up nursing. She worked as a nurse in a soldier's hospital. By 1920, Amelia's parents had gotten back together and moved to California. Amelia moved to California to be with them. It was there one day that Amelia paid $1, put on a helmet and goggles, and took a 10-minute plane ride over Los Angeles. Amelia later said, "As soon as we left the ground, I knew I myself had to fly." Amelia worked several jobs to earn the money she needed to take flying lessons with a woman pilot, Anita Snooks. Soon, Amelia would buy her own plane. In 1927, Amelia got a phone call that changed her life. Captain Hilton Rayleigh called and made an offer Amelia could not turn down. In 1928, Amelia became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. Even though Amelia was not the pilot, the newspapers pretty much ignored the two men who piloted the plane. Amelia received most of the attention. 4 years later, Amelia flew across the Atlantic on her own in record time, 13 hours and 30 minutes. By that time, she was famous throughout Europe and the United States. A few years later, she became the first woman to fly from Hawaii to California. In 1929, Amelia participated in a cross-country air race for women pilots. She also founded an organization of women pilots called the 99s, named for its first 99 members. In June 1937, Amelia set out to fly around the world. She and her navigator, Fred Noonan, flew from Miami, Florida to South America, and then across the Atlantic Ocean to Africa. They continued over the Sahara Desert and on to Thailand and Australia. After taking off from New Guinea, the U.S. Coast Guard lost contact with the plane. No trace of the plane or its passengers was ever found. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is I'm going to cut this into two different videos. So I want you, and you can look back at this article right here. I think you'll be able to see it all. I'm not positive on that though. I want you to look back and write down all the notes that you think are important that tell you about Amelia Earhart. Okay. And hopefully throughout this recording, as maybe you need to play it back again or something, if you're not able to scroll on it. Actually, I'm thinking that you probably can't scroll on it, but just go back and maybe listen to it again, fast forward it, something like that, so you can get some details down. Remember, you're just looking for the most important details. Okay, and then I'm going to make another video. I'm going to reread it again, and then I am going to show you what some of those important details are. Okay, again, if we were in the classroom, I'd be having you guys raise your hand and say, Mrs. Hartman, I think that's it. But unfortunately, you get to see my thinking. Maybe it's fortunate. I don't know. Okay. I miss you guys. You can tell by I just sit here and talk to myself all day. So I will be right back because I'm going to record another one. Okay. Bye.